Welcome back to the News at 10, reaching you live from Lagos. Let's quickly shift our gears now to our Abuja studios where Malkme Ogun Yusuf is standing by to take us through. Malkme.
Hello, Gimba. It's good to see you again. A federal high court sitting in the FCT has ordered an interim forfeiture of 2 properties linked to Patience Jonathan, wife of former President Goodluck Jonathan. In a ruling on an ex parte application filed by the EFCC, the trial judge, Justice Nnamdi Dingba, dismissed Mrs. Jonathan's objection to the application for lacking in merit. Justice Dingba also ruled that the order would only last for 45 days. He added that within the 45 days, the EFCC must conclude its investigations and charge the suspects being investigated in respect of the alleged crimes linked to the properties. The properties located in the Maitama district of Abuja are said to be held in the name of Ariwabai Aruera Richard Foundation, which Mrs. Jonathan is said to be one of its trustees. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission had, in an ex parte application filed in September last year, asked for an interim forfeiture of the properties, which it claimed were subject of an ongoing criminal investigation. Now, officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission have been speaking on some of the steps that must be taken to achieve a credible election in the Ekiti and Osun State governorship elections slated for July and September this year. According to some of the officials, adequate logistics and security, as well as early mobilization of ad hoc staff, are necessary for the smooth conduct of the polls.
Yes, I've been verified.
It's 74 days to the Ekiti State governorship election and another 144 days to decide who steers the affairs of Osun State. Here at the Electoral Institute, those charged with the responsibility to conduct elections gather to avoid the pitfalls that characterize elections.
The Institute finds it imperative to actually organize yet another forum to really interrogate some of the issues, some of the basic problems that we might face in the field, some of the challenges. And there is no better foundation rather than to go and look at what happened in Anambra.
The resident electoral commissioner to Anambra State, Dr. Nwachukwu, gives a rundown on why the just concluded Anambra elections is described as successful. He, however, lists what must be done to achieve same level of success in Ekiti and Osun states.
Most times, people play all sorts of pranks with the position of ad hoc staff. Some people appear for training, and on the day of the job, they will bring somebody to come and represent them. You know, something as cynical as that. So we need some proper documentation. In Anambra governorship election, we found that we didn't do so much well. We didn't do so well in that documentation. But in the senatorial election, it was near perfect documentation.
But how far has the resident electoral commissioner for Ekiti State prepared for the task ahead?
We were adequately, provided with all the necessary resources, and we paid all the the staff that worked with us, the NYC and some other members of the community that worked with us, and there was no complaint from anybody. The same thing that we will do, the headquarters is going to provide us with the necessary logistics, and like he said, we will ensure that we pay people through bank transfer, no cash.
As preparations continue in top gear for the Ekiti and Osun State governorship elections, Nigerians are hopeful that the aftermath will be free and fair.
Going to the south of the country, the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, has raised concerns over what he alleges is a compromise of the state's internal security architecture ahead of the 2019 general elections. According to Governor Wike, a commander attached to the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, who's been indicted by the Independent National Electoral Commission over the rerun elections in the state and subsequently redeployed to Yobe State, is allegedly being groomed to destabilize Rivers State. Governor Wike disclosed this to members of the National Institute, Kuru Jos, who are in the state to understudy the internal security architecture of the state.
What is going to happen in 2019 in this man continually being in this state? I'm not the one who gave this report. It's the federal agency, IMEC. It's not me. Maybe if they knew, they wouldn't have linked this their document. The IG was aware. Now they gave the man a special promotion, not that he was even qualified, special promotion. after having done a good job, he now got the promotion, and they're now preparing him for 2019 election. Now, with this kind of characters, what will be the security architecture in the state?
Yes, I'm Wike, Governor of Rivers State. Well, that's all from Abuja. It's back to you, Gimba.
Brilliant. Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company Limited, in partnership with the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, the NNPC, has donated a modern block of science laboratories at the Agri Memorial Model College, Arochukwu, in Abia State. At the commissioning, the business integrated manager of SNEPCO, engineer Segun Awolabi, explained that the gesture is aimed at promoting the teachings and learnings of science subjects.
There's no denying the fact that quality education holds the key to a promising future for any individual, and promoting this is not a one-man job. That's the reason given by Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company Limited, who is partnering with the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to improve teaching and learning in high schools. Their latest project is Agri Memorial Model College in Abia State, southeast Nigeria.
We support education, and this is one of the ways we've chosen to support education by encouraging the learning of science, technology, and engineering, which is STEM, because we believe that there are huge opportunities for our children.
Here, the oil company is donating a block of science laboratories, apparatuses and chemicals to aid learning and teaching of science subjects.
This project is geared towards promoting educational excellence in sciences through the provision of an integrated science laboratory. The laboratory block is fully furnished with modern science equipment and sufficient laboratory chemicals that will serve the school for a minimum of 2 years. Shell companies in Nigeria have a long history of supporting education, as we believe this is a bridge to prosperous future.
This gesture is welcomed by the beneficiaries.
This commissioning of the science laboratory project, fully furnished and equipped with modern science equipment and sufficient laboratory chemicals in this ancient city of Arochukwu will remain a memorial in the minds of the students.
This new laboratory, it will help us in our learning and in our teachings. Like, we are going to be free to take in experiments anytime we feel like taking it. And it will also help to widen out our knowledge so that we know some things we have to learn now, so that it will help us when we enter higher institution.
And after all said and done, the building is commissioned for use with the expectation that it will provide the students with the resources they need to excel.
Time now for business news on the news at 10 with Anwar Odo.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Gimba, and welcome to Business News. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to global fight against financing terrorism. The Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, made this pledge at an international conference against terror hosted by French President Emmanuel Macron in Paris. According to Mrs. Adeosun, Nigeria is reinforcing efforts by monitoring formal and informal finance channels through the Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit and other bodies. Mrs. Adeosun also says that Nigeria's customs service is tracking physical cash movement and transactions at various borders, including Niger, Benin Republic, and Cameroon. Fidelity Bank has delivered a 94% growth in profit for the year ended December the 31st, 2017, proposing to pay 11 kobo dividend to its shareholders. Gross earnings grew by 18.3% to 179.9 billion naira from 155 billion naira it posted in 2016. Profit after tax also surged by 93.7% to 18.9 billion naira, and that's when you compare it to 9.7 billion naira it posted a year earlier. Fidelity Bank returned to the international capital markets in 2017 and successfully issued a $400 million Eurobond, oversubscribed by more than 200%. It's the last trading day in the month of April, and the equities market gained 6 basis points and sustained bargain hunting as 19 gainers outweighed 18 laggards. For more on today's transactions, let's join Teniola Shibowale.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The Nigerian equities market managed to close in the positive territory this last trading day of the month, the all-share index up by just 0.06%. Sentiment was largely negative for the better part of the trading session until few minutes to the closing bell. The negative sentiment was due to unimpressive results posted by stocks in the consumer goods sector, such as Dangote Sugar, pulling down the sector by 0.77%. However, gains by Dangote Cement and banking stocks like First Bank, GT Bank and Zenith outweigh the losses recorded by the consumer goods. In 4,699 deals, investors put in about 5 million naira for about 450 million shares. On the price movement chart, 19 stocks posted gains while 18 posted declines. And as the month wraps up today, traders say the first trading day in May is not expected to see any changes from today's performance, but are hopeful for a better new month. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Teniola Shibowale.
Thanks a lot, Teniola. It's the final trading day of the month across the world. Also, let's show you how some of the markets ended the month of April. Thanks a lot for watching Business News tonight. I wish you a better May. I'm Anne Nwaudu. It's back to you, Gimba.
You first. First Bank.
Still ahead on the news at 10. Channels International Kids Cup Technical Committee shortlists 32 schools for Lagos State preliminaries. That's some sports news. Stay with us.